Welcome to today's lesson on dividing by two-digit numbers. Today we are going to discuss a few strategies that you can use to divide by two-digit numbers. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we begin today, let's review some basic vocabulary. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. The number that is being divided is called the dividend, and the number that you are dividing the dividend by is called the divisor. Your first step when dividing by a two-digit number is to take your divisor and round it to your nearest 10. If we take 17 and round it to our nearest 10, we get 20. Your next step is to multiply your rounded divisor by a target number, and this number is going to get you close to your dividend. This is going to help us estimate our quotient. If I multiply 20 times 6, I get 120. That gets me pretty close to my dividend. Let's try 6. I'm going to place a 6 as my quotient, and I start by multiplying 17 times 6. 17 times 6 equals 102. When we subtract 102 from 129, we get 27. Uh-oh, 27 is greater than our divisor, which is 17. That means that our quotient is incorrect. We need to raise our quotient up one more. So let's try a quotient of 7. 17 times 7 equals 119. When we subtract 119 from 129, we get 10. And that's perfect because 10 is less than 17. So that means that 10 is going to be our remainder. So our quotient is going to be 7 with a remainder of 10. Let's go ahead and try a word problem together. For this problem, we're going to practice our long division using a bit of a more traditional method, but we're still going to focus on estimation. The school store raised $349 for school supplies. The store needs to share the money equally among 12 classes. How much money will each class receive for supplies? Write your answer using a remainder. So let's start by setting up our division problem. We have $349 that we will be dividing equally among 12 classes. Our first step is to round our divisor to the nearest 10. That's going to give us 10. Our second step is to see about how many times can 10 go into our first digit of our dividend. Since 10 is greater than 3, we're going to put a 0 as a placeholder and move on to our next place value. 10 can go into 34 about 3 times. So we're going to place a 3 as the first digit of our quotient. 12 times 3 equals 36. Uh-oh, 36 is greater than 34. That means we need to change our 3 to a 2. So let's place our 2 as our first digit of our quotient, and let's try this again. 12 times 2 equals 24. And that's perfect because if we subtract 24 from 34, we get a remainder of 10. But we're not finished yet because we still have one more place value to bring down. So about how many times can 12 fit into 109? Well, 12 times 9 equals 108. And that's perfect because that leaves us with a remainder of 1, and we don't have any further place values to bring down. So that means that each class is going to receive $29 for supplies, and the whole school will have $1 left over as a remainder. Let's try another word problem together. Hudson has been working on the problem below. His partner told him that he did not get the correct answer. However, Hudson's not sure where he made a mistake. Can you identify his mistake? Well, we can see that he was dividing 109 by 18. It looks like he rounded 18 up to 20, and then he found his target number of 5, which he put in as his quotient. He multiplied 18 times 5 to get 90, and uh-oh, he had 19 as his remainder. Your remainder can't be greater than your divisor. We need to help Hudson out. Let's try going through this problem again. We don't have to complete the entire problem over again because Hudson did a couple of things right. He rounded his divisor up to the nearest 10 and rounded 18 to 20. He then tried multiplying that for a target number, and 5 was just too low. So now we're going to try multiplying by 6. So our quotient is going to be 6, and 18 times 6 equals 108. If we subtract 108 from 109, that gives us 1 left over, so we have a remainder of 1. Let's review what you've learned in today's lesson. When you're trying to divide a number that has a 2-digit divisor, your first step is to round it to the nearest tens place. We need to round 32 to 30. Your second step is to then estimate what your quotient would be and land as close to your dividend as you can. If we multiply 30 times 2, we get 60, and that gets us pretty close to 75. Then you have to try multiplying your estimated quotient, which in this case is 2, by your divisor. 32 times 2 equals 64. And then you subtract down, and you need to make sure that your remainder is not greater than your divisor. If so, then you're going to have to go back and change what your quotient is. Lastly, you bring your remainder up to the top for your quotient. 75 divided by 32 equals 2 with a remainder of 11.